law.
I don't disagree with that.
One for Kilroy.
Hello and good morning. Over 150 dangerous paedophiles are due to be released from prison within the next 2 years. Some of them may be even being released tomorrow or the next week or the week after. What should we do about them? Helen, should these men be released from prison at all?
Well, the first thing I'd like to say is that I think there's a real witch hunt around paedophiles. There's a real... you say the word paedophile and everybody panics, everybody stands back. You know, you said it yourself, there are 150 dangerous paedophiles.
Well, they are.
And we've all got the image
They're dangerous.
They're
they
not
interfere
all
with
dangerous.
kids.
They're not all dangerous. There's a whole category. There is actually no such thing as a paedophile as far as the law is concerned. All there is there are people who've committed sexual offences against children. Now that could be a whole range.
Which the dictionary calls a paedophile. Not just what the law says, the dictionary says they're a paedophile, and we know what we mean when we talk about
No, we don't know what we mean.
Well, we do.
That could be anybody, from somebody who's raped a child, and I don't have a problem with somebody who's raped a child or murdered a child being given a very long sentence. We normally reserve life for murder, but I don't have a problem with that. But it can also be somebody who has interfered with a child, who has flashed at a child, who has indecent photographs of a child. Those are all, in common parlance, paedophiles, and I don't think that those people should be locked up for the rest of their lives. I think they should be allowed out of prison when they've served their sentence.
Yeah, but unless you've been on the receiving end of it, you've got no idea. And I mean, if they just start off with pictures and go around flashing to children, they're going to go further. Because why are they doing that? There's something wrong with them.
Well, that's a very common view that people will go
as I
further,
said,
but
unless you've
not-
actually experienced it, you don't really know.
Well, even if you've experienced it, you don't know whether that individual person is going to go on and commit further offences. And the evidence is
Why should we take the risk? Why should we take the risk with the child? I beg your pardon.
We have to take the
risk. Oh no,
risk.
we don't, sweetheart. No,
No,
we don't.
we certainly
no, we
don't.
don't, Helen. No, but I've got a 3-year-old grandson. Nobody takes risks with him.
Well, you can't lock up
Nobody
anybody.
takes risks. What do you mean? What do you mean?
You can't lock up and throw away the key. Everybody
can't
who
you?
could
Why
pose
can't
a
you?
risk
Yeah,
to children.
Yes, you can lock them up and throw the key away, because that's what they deserve. Each and every time they ruin a child's life, and you let one of these people out after... Let me finish. You let one of these people out after 2 or 3 years, but the child has been given a life sentence. They never, ever get over what's happened to them. Are you going to let these people out into the public again? Are you going to stand guarantor for them that they will never, ever harm another child? Will you give us that guarantee?
Finish.
Will you guarantee that they will never, ever harm another child?
I just want to know who they are. You know, who are they?
We're talking about people like Sidney Cook. We're talking about people like Robert Oliver, the most vile and disgusting individuals on this earth at the moment, and they're in this country. And one of them is already on release, and he's sitting in voluntary confinement at the moment, just waiting for his boyfriend to get out, so they can go and have a life together, a pair of the worst perverts that we will ever come across in our lifetime. And you're advocating that we should let them out and ignore them?
Let her respond.
Well, they are one of the most extreme cases. I mean, not every paedophile is in that category. They have killed a
But
child.
everyone has done something
even
unacceptable to a child.
But even they
And they
have-
may do it again to another child.
They may do, but any one of us
What
may
you
do
may.
something.
Why should we take the risk with somebody who's going to do that, just do a terrible thing to a vulnerable and innocent child?
Because if we want any kind of free society at all, then we have to punish people for what they've done. You know, for what
Not
they've
for what they
actually
might
done.
do.
Not
Yeah,
for what
go
they
on.
might do.
Okay.
I'm the cousin of Jason Swift, who was brutally murdered by Cook, Oliver, Lenny Smith and Bailey. It's chucking lambs into the slaughter. That's what's happening with these people coming out. You can't call that justice. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. It's lambs to the slaughter, and that's what I'm sticking with.
Well, even on that particular case, it's a very, very sad, it's a tragic case,
Yeah,
but
it is
even with
tragic.
them, they've
Because we're
served their-
suffering a life
yes,
sentence as well.
But they've
So
served
is
their
Jason's
sentence.
mother.
They were convicted of manslaughter, not murder, and they've served the sentence that
Did
the
you
judge
read the
sent.
paper, what they did?
Yes, I did, and it was absolutely horrible, but they've served their sentence.
No,
they
they
were
haven't.
convicted of manslaughter.
No, they haven't.
So
And they're
those
now due to
people...
be released.
So hang on, they've served their sentence.
Yes.
They should be let out.
Of course they should, they've served their
Of
sentence.
course they should. You
Yes.
have no doubts about that.
No, not at all.
And I'm telling you, that man, those men, they've served their sentence, but we know. Because we know they are going to, this is what the police say, this is what the psychiatrists say, this is what the Home Office say, they are very likely to do it again. Not may, not possibly, it is almost as certain as night follows day that they will do it again. And you can sit there and say, let them out. Your mother?
I don't think that's relevant.
Oh, I think it might be. It might be. Are you a mother?
No, I'm not.
No, you're not. If you had children, do you think you would sit there and take that view?
Well, maybe I would be a lot more emotional if I had children, but that doesn't alter that. That's my perspective at the moment.
I am 50 this year, and 46 years ago, I was sexually abused. I still remember my abuser. I am living a life sentence. I will carry that abuse with me until the day I die. I have suffered mental health problems, and I'll tell you what, I hope and pray my abuser is dead. Yeah. I hope he is dead.
I was abused at 8 years old, and I was in a school, believe it or not, where you could be trusted with teachers to teach, not to touch a young boy or anything like that. I wasn't allowed to go home because my mother and father was experiencing divorce problems. But they took me to his house. The teacher took me to his house, got me blind drunk, literally, and he literally screwed me with his fist. And you're telling me that you're going to say, let them out, to do that again? No.
No, don't look
They're
at me.
animals.
You look at him. Don't look at me.
They should not be let out.
That's who we're talking about. Talk to him. Look at him in the eye.
There's many more vulnerable children out there. If they're going to be released into the open, what's going to happen to those children? What's going to happen?
Now you have a general problem here. You have a general problem.
What's going to happen?
Everybody is assuming that every paedophile is a Cook or a Bailey or an Oliver. And not every paedophile is. The second thing is that not everybody who molests children or damages children and does even far worse, murders children in the caravan like dear Jason, they're not all paedophiles either. We have a problem. We're assuming that the paedophiles or anybody who molests a child is a paedophile. It's very difficult to understand,
but
a lot of
okay, we'll call him a child molester.
No,
it's a child
no,
molester.
A child molester. Child molesters and paedophiles are not necessarily the same. And this is vital, because you can approach different sex offenders in a different way. And some of them can receive remedial education and treatment in prison. And many of them are now.
But what's to
a
stop
lot
them
of
from
people
doing it
who
again
molest
and again and
a lot
again
of
until
people who
somebody's dead?
molest children do so because they do not dare attack an adult. There are lots of reasons why they there are lots of reasons why they do things. And in these circumstances, these people can be prevented from doing this again. I am not suggesting that every cook...
Define the difference between a child molester and a paedophile. What's the difference in your eyes?
Because a lot of paedophiles don't actually molest children. Some do.
Rubbish.
They subject a child to something sexual generally, even if they just look at a child in a disgusting way and do things while they're looking at children.
A lot of child molesters are not paedophiles, and so you've got to approach these offenders differently.
So you're saying it's all right to molest children?
No, I'm not saying it's
I don't know what
all
the
right
psychiatrists and social workers say, but the dictionary is quite straightforward. Somebody who sexually assaults, molests a child is a paedophile. But there are different degrees of seriousness. Nobody would argue that there's a difference between somebody at the one end of the spectrum and somebody doing something, at the other.
Which enables us to differentiate between those that may be able to be released and rehabilitated, and the Home Office and the prison service is working extremely hard. And now, I'm their biggest critic. I've been on television and I have criticised these people and their programmes before.
But what we're talking about here is the 150 bill. We're talking about the 150 that he said cannot be rehabilitated, who are coming to the end of their determinate sentence, and as Helen quite rightly says and acknowledges that, and who therefore under the present law have to be released from prison. They have no option. And what we're asking, should we change the law to, even retrospectively, to say, sorry, if they're a danger, if they're not rehabilitated, we should not let them out of prison. We should even change the law retrospectively.
Are you going to guarantee that they're never going to offend again?
Can you guarantee that everybody who is even convicted is guilty? What would you do about the Orkney parents? What would you do about the people from Pembroke? What would you do about the people who were accused at Bishop Auckland and, thank the Lord, the CPS dropped the prosecution? Those people were completely innocent. But what would have happened if they'd gone to prison? They would have then been stigmatised like a cook and a bailey when they were completely innocent.
Okay.
And if they were then let out...
We're not going to argue their cases, Bill, for reasons you well understand, and we accept what you say there. Should these people then, James, be released into the community?
People are concerned about safety, and rightly so. We want to be safe. But you have to ask yourself, who is it that commits child sex offences? It would be very easy if it was the same people all the time, and we could put a little tag on them and put them somewhere else. But that's not true. 9 out of 10 child sex offences are first-time offences. You see,
so what are we going to do with these? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Let them into the community?
On the contrary, what I'm trying to say to you is that you feel safe because you're talking about these 90 men that are released every year. But those aren't the people who are going to abuse children.
Well, according to the Home Office they are. According to the Home Office and the police, potentially, amongst that 150, there are people who they say, we know will commit further offences, but we have no power to release, not to release them.
The Home Office might feel that they've got a crystal ball, but I can tell you on what's already happened, 9 out of 10 people, 9 out of 10 sexual offences are first-time offences. And they are
No, they've only been caught.
most often.
They've only been caught.